How much new business do you want to book in 2021? Let's just say you want to book $1 million of new business. Here's the thing. When we're thinking about our go-to-market strategy, especially for a new product, for a software company or SaaS business, we can get really drawn into the details. It's like, are we going to do inbound? Are we going to do outbound? Is it SEO? Are we going to run ads? Do we do referrals? Is there a marketplace? And we tend to focus on the execution and not enough on the strategy. And we don't think about stress testing our strategy. So while you may think you actually want to hit $1 million of new business bookings this year for your SaaS business, you may not have stress tested your go-to-market machine or strategy. In this episode, I'm going to give you the one question that you really need to answer to stress test your go-to-market strategy, to ensure you actually are following the right strategy to win in 2021, and to make sure you don't end up neither here nor there in your SaaS business at the end of the year. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. If you are new to this channel, I drop an episode like this 3 times a week, every week, to help you grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon, so you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. Now, if you're already part of our community, a really fast-growing community, welcome. If you're part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program, double welcome. It's so awesome to see you guys over here. Now, during the early days of building out ToutApp, which is a sales engagement platform, we sold it to Marketo, and then I worked at Marketo, and we sold it to Adobe. During the early days of ToutApp, when we were going into a year, we didn't really set a revenue number. We were just hoping to get to product market fit. We were just hoping to actually get enough people to care, and hopefully they would pay us. But there was a point where we hit product market fit. There's a point where we raised our seed round. There was a point where we started going into the year saying, okay, what's our revenue number going to be? How much are we going to aim to grow this year? How much new business are we bringing in? And how do we actually build out the go-to-market strategy to go accomplish that? And that was a shift, right? And it kind of snuck up on us because we grew up real fast and we were like, oh, wow, we really had to get this right. Fortunately for me, I had some really great mentors, coaches, experts around me, especially because we were selling to VPs of sales, that helped me actually create the go-to-market strategy for ToutApp and actually go after the high growth that we did accomplish. And so the biggest thing that I learned is it's so easy to get caught up on the details of a go-to-market execution plan, and you forget the strategy, you kind of miss the forest for the trees. And the big thing you need to do is just do the math. This is something that a lot of startup founders forget to do. I know I've been guilty of it in the past. What we don't do is the true math behind our revenue number. And doing that math actually helps you stress test it. So I'm going to show you the exact math you need to do. And then I'm going to show you the difference between the tactics and the strategy and how you can actually make sure you're doing the math to inform whether you have the right tactics and strategy to go hit your revenue number this year. So if you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button and let's go right into it. So let's just assume this is going to be simple math and everyone should do this. You should do this if you haven't already. Let's just say we want to do $1 million of new business. This is like, forget our existing book of business. You know, we'll think about customer success separately. Let's just say we want to do $1 million of new business that we want to book this year in 2021 or beyond, whenever you're watching this, right? Now, let's just say that, there's some math involved in this, and this is the math that a lot of us fail to do. It's simple math, it's not complicated, but we don't do it because we're so mired in the details, like, do we do this blog post or not? Let's just say, our win rate is 20%, right? We have a 20% win rate, and our average deal size is $100K. Now, you can plug in your own numbers in this. This is very simple to do. You can take a screenshot of this right now, and then you can do it. Super easy. Now, what that means is that if we have a 20% win rate and an average deal size of 100K, that means that we need to have 50 real opportunities. 50 real opportunities. That means that we have to talk to 50 companies that have a real shot at spending, has the budget for spending 100K on our platform. And then out of that, we will get our actual $1 million of new business. The way that works is 50 opportunities, 20% of them will close, 100K each, we get to $1 million. Now, this is just super easy math, but even up to this point, you might be thinking, oh, interesting, 50 opportunities, can we do that? Like, how's that gonna come together? Like, this is the whole power of this. We get so focused on the tactics, and I'll talk about that in a second, we forget, like, what's the simple math? Okay, so 50 opportunities. Now, that's not over yet. These are opportunities. Opportunities meaning they're like really interested. They're different from leads, and they're different from like trials, if you will, if you're a self-service business. So let's just say that, we have a 5% lead to opportunity conversion rate, meaning 5% of the leads that we get, 5% of the trials that get started are real opportunities. Others are tire kickers, not decision makers, they can't afford it. It's a mix. They're not a fit, they're not in the ICP. So what that means is that you need 1,000 leads. So 1,000 leads, 5% of them will become actual opportunities. Out of the 50 opportunities, we will win 20% of them at 100K, and that's how we get to our $1 million. You would be amazed, and this is something that I didn't do the first time around because I didn't know it, and then I was taught it, and I'm like, oh my God, this changes everything. When you do the math, it changes everything. And this is the one thing that you can do to actually stress test your go-to-market strategy and execution. This simple math. Now, there's some tactics that are involved at this, right? Now you can say, all right, we need 1,000 leads. So for the 1,000 leads, we could do inbound through social. Maybe we do SEO. You better have an SEO thing running because SEO takes 18 months to actually pay back, like actually to kick in. So it may not happen overnight. So it may not be the best strategy, right? We could do outbound. We can go after our very core ICP. We could do ads. Now, 1,000 leads, that's a lot of ads. So you got to have the budget for that. So you have to think about that. We could also do marketplaces. Maybe you go on the Shopify App Store or the Salesforce App Exchange, if you're B2B SaaS, or the Google Chrome Store, and you go into the marketplace and you start to generate those leads there. Anyway, those are all tactics. Maybe you do blogging. Maybe you do a podcast. Maybe you do a YouTube channel, right? And the list goes on. Here's my point. A lot of times people will be focused on the tactics, like we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And what they don't fail to understand is you gotta do the math to stress test, hey, are we gonna reasonably generate 1,000 leads if we just double down on SEO? Or if we just do social? Or if we just run ads, right? Then you can start to really understand, start to like, is this enough? Are we gonna get there? We're gonna get 1,000 leads, and out of those, are they really gonna convert to real opportunities? And then out of that, are we really gonna convert 20% of them at 100K? Is that realistic? And then we get our million. Are you starting to see the power in this? Let me just pause here for a second before I talk about the strategy here on how this all comes together. If you're starting to see the value in just doing this math and really understanding on like, okay, what is this gonna look like? Can you just see the power in actually stress testing your strategy and your execution for your go-to-market machine? If you can I just get a yes in the comments below? A, because I love hearing from you. B, because we answer every single question you put in the comments. We also respond to every single comment that you put. And also while you're at it, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm really likes it when you smash that like button, and so does my team. So go ahead and do both of those. And also, by the way, if you are in the midst of building out a go-to-market strategy and a machine to actually scale and hit your revenue number, I encourage you to check out my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside of my coaching program, we go in depth into how to get the math right and how to actually go into building out your go-to-market strategy so you can actually execute and accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video. Let's go to the strategy piece. Okay, the strategy piece here is what's most important. So the first thing that's most important is to do the math. You should just do the math on your revenue target. The second thing is to actually think about all the tactics you are doing and what's working and what's not, and is this actually reasonable? Like, are you gonna actually be able to generate 1,000 leads doing what you're doing? Like, for example, if your plan was to blog a lot and SEO is gonna pick it up, I don't know, I wouldn't bet that on 1,000 leads coming right away unless you already got a humming machine, right? Like you might have to do something a little bit more direct, like outbound, for example. So that's something to think about. But really, a lot of times where founders and early teams and just teams in general, go-to-market teams in general, go wrong is they over-index on tactics, they don't do the math, and they don't think about the strategy. Now, there's 3 components to a successful go-to-market strategy, and we actually help you build all this stuff out in our SaaS go-to-market coaching program. The first one is your ICP, your ideal customer profile. And the ICP is super powerful because you can either be really broad about your ICP. It's like, oh, it's like every VP of sales, like that's broad. Or you can be very specific on who are these 50 opportunities that are going to be in our ICP. Who are they specifically? So you can actually build out a much more specific ICP. We teach you how to do that. The second one is your manifesto. Now, here's the thing. When you are executing on your go-to-market machine, you're gonna have to write ads, you're gonna have to write blogs, you're gonna have to write social posts, you're gonna have to put something on your webpage, on your homepage. All those things should be tethered to your core manifesto. That's your strategic narrative. Why you do what you do, how do you do it, why does it matter, what happens if they don't do it? This all goes into a strategic narrative. A manifesto is what I call it. And if you don't have that, all of these pieces, all these tactics will be untethered from what you're really doing. So the second piece you really have to nail is what is your manifesto? That's part of your go-to-market strategy. And then the third thing is your Broadway show. Now, I talk about Broadway shows all the time in this channel because I'm a big fan of them. I learned it from Russell Brunson, who's an amazing marketer. The whole point is, your team might go in and do a whole bunch of these activities randomly every single week, and they're like, what do we do next? What do we do next? And it may not be cohesive. But a Broadway show is this one show you run every week to go into your ICP and give them your strategic message, your manifesto. And you keep bringing them into their world so that they become a lead, then an opportunity, and then they close. That's a consistent motion that you do, and that's your Broadway show. And that means that you actually are strategic about, hey, if we're gonna do 1,000 leads and we know who our ICP is, then maybe we should just double down on outbound and social. That could be an example. Or, you know what, they're really hard to reach, they're not on social media, they don't check their email, let's figure out how to target ads, or maybe we need to cold call. This is how the strategy really comes into play on your Broadway show. When you have these three things in place, your ideal customer profile, your manifesto, which is your strategic narrative, and your Broadway show, then your tactics become a lot easier to execute on week after week. When you're executing on the right tactics, because it's tethered to a real strategy, your math becomes real. And when you do the math, you can stress test whether you have the right strategy in place. And it all comes together in a beautiful way. Now you know how to craft your go-to-market strategy and do the math. Do the math so you can stress test what you're doing, and you can actually make sure you know the difference between execution and strategy and get it right. Now, if you're in the stage where you're building out your scalable go-to-market machine, if you have some revenues and you're now looking to scale in 2021, and you're doing the math and you're like, hey, I don't know if we have the right tactics in play, and we definitely don't have the strategy in play. Maybe we don't have the right ICP. We don't have a strategic narrative. If that's you, then I invite you to apply to join my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside the coaching program, we actually walk you through and coach you through how to build out your ICP, how to craft your manifesto, and then how to run a Broadway show so you can actually grow your SaaS business. It includes all the training you need, the blueprints, the examples. I run a weekly mastermind call with all the CEOs in the program where I can coach you through what you're doing. It's all included. It's a ton of fun. And I invite you to apply to join. The reason we have an application process is we want to make sure you're the right fit. So when you go to tkkader.com/GTM, over there you'll get all the details around the program, around with a simple application link. And all that does is just collect a little bit of information, and then you and I will get on a call. And the thing is, the better the fit, the better the results. So we just want to make sure that we can actually help you. And if we can, we'll let you into the program, and we'll get to work right away to help you build your scalable go-to-market machine. So to learn more and to apply to join, go to tkkader.com/GTM. This program has been incredible people on the program. So go ahead and check that out, and you can apply to join, and we'll get on a call to discuss it further. If you got value from this video, if you now are excited about building a go-to-market machine, doing the math, figuring out what tactics are the right ones, thinking about your strategy, maybe even joining the go-to-market coaching program, then be sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I drop a video like this with actionable strategies because I've actually done this. I've been in your shoes. I've scaled companies. So I'll bring you actionable strategies 3 times a week. So be sure to the subscribe button and that bell icon that you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. Also, our community has been growing, and it's been incredible. And it's really because of you. You've been smashing the like button, you've been subscribing, and you've been sharing it with fellow founders and WhatsApp groups and Slack groups and on Twitter. So it really means the world to me and my team. We put a lot of love into these videos, and it means a lot when you do share it. So please share this video as well if you got value from it. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business, but when you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode. The way that works is 50 opportunities, 20% of them will close, 100K each, we get to $1 million. I'm gonna make sure that math is correct. 50 times 0.2 times. Yeah, it is correct. Don't include that.